Every job obviously starts with a inspiration or a space that they're wanting to go through. First thing I like to ask people is, do you have any inspiration picks? Because most people, once they get to us, they've typically thought about it quite a bit. They've done the Pinterest, they've gone to our website, or even other people's websites, and they've found kind of what they like, So I would say 9 out of 10 times, most of the people say, oh, this is what I like. And they present us with something, and then we basically take that, and then we kind of springboard from there and kind of give them what they want, And once again, that goes back into the discussions of all of the different elements, and if it's wood, which in this case it was, all of the different elements, that they've seen in their inspiration picks and putting them into their design. And even, maybe even trying to introduce other elements that they haven't even necessarily thought about. They have an under-stair space. They contacted us, we came out. They basically told us what their rough measurements were, and we were able to kind of gauge what the layout was going to be. And then kind of at the first thing I like to do is I kind of like to give people ballpark budgets of what things are cost, because there are a lot of people that really don't have concepts of what building a wine cellar truly is, and I always like to remind people you're basically building a very large refrigerator, so they're not inexpensive, So in this case, once we kind of decided that the budget was where they wanted to be, and then I started to show them some different kinds of cellars that we have done. And basically what we like to do is we like to clue in on a lot of the different elements within a wood. That's the other aspect, is we clued in that they wanted wood cellar. So we try and find out what their eyes visually like within their cellar. In this case, they didn't like diamond racking, but they did like having bottles displayed. There's this combination of volume versus display. In this case, we decided like having an open, I love doing open spaces in the middle of, just because it gives you, as you can see here, what they did is they displayed some of their stuff that has meaning to them, decanters, it ranges, So once we got all of the design aspects of it down, then it was just a matter of putting it into production. What we did here is we took a under-stair space that the clients just really wanted to maximize. They really love their wine. They just wanted to have something that was kind of a showpiece for them. They do a lot of entertaining, and they've got some really good wines, and they're really on their way to actually filling it up. They're about 40% full right now. As you can see here, custom glass, dual pane glass really seals in the cool there. Understair spaces tend to be a little more difficult with the cooling aspect of it, because we can't really hide them as well. So as you can see here, what we did is we have a commercial cooling unit that is tucked behind a custom grill space, so it just really looks like it grew there. And then everything here is just custom stained oak and just built to their specifications. They've now gone to personalizing it. Lots of display case. They have room for their magnums in that area, and then on the end cap there, just a really cool way to kind of display some wine to everybody. But we're really super pleased with how this came out, and obviously the clients absolutely love it. This is a commercial RM system. So this is a split system. So the split system is rack mounted, and then you've got the condenser that is right on the side yard. So we've run our lines through their garages on the other side and out to the side yard. With an understair space, cooling it can be a little bit of a challenge, because there's usually no place to hide a cooler. So in this case, in our cooling design, we had to basically build our racking around the cooler. Part of what we do is we do everything related to a cellar. I mean, we do all of the insulation, because that's a huge component of building a cellar. It has to be fully insulated, otherwise it's just not going to work properly, and it's going to cost you money. So dual pane insulated glass in metal frames, that's pretty much a must for any cellar. Closed cell spray foam behind the walls. Install the cooling system, install the racking, and that's where we are today. So all of our cooling systems are installed by licensed HVAC technicians that focus only on cooling, on wine cellars, because wine cellars are a completely different beast than a regular traditional HVAC system. Interestingly, right now the wood cellars are taking a lot longer. just because of these are all custom made by really awesome craftsmen, cabinet makers. For just the racking right now, we're at probably about 10 to 12 weeks for that. Probably 2 years ago, that number was probably more like 6 to 8 weeks. But obviously current times, everybody's extremely busy. But so that typically is that's where we're at right now. In that time, we can usually get a lot of the other things done, so there might be an additional 2 weeks on top of that, week to 2 weeks, depending to actually get everything finalized. Installs maybe take 2 days. We basically do everything to piece them in there, and then our craftsmen come in and they do all the finishing touches too that need to be, that's because the racking is definitely not a just slide it in there sort of a thing. They come in component pieces that have to be reassembled. First of all, the wood, it's okay, what kind of wood do you want? Do you want a more hardwood? Do you want something maybe that is maybe a little bit more on the cost efficient side? If somebody is having a really dark finish stain that they ultimately want, I don't necessarily recommend them going with higher end woods because you're going to be doing a dark stain anyways. If you're doing a lighter stain where you're going to see more of the natural wood elements to it, then yeah, you probably would want to go with a higher end oak, walnut, something like that. Minimum of a year, yearly, they do need to be maintained. We always build our cellars such that we're cognizant of maintenance when we do it. In fact, with this cellar, the wood grill pulls off so you can easily get inside to do maintenance on that. As for the lighting, we do LED lighting in our racks. And once again, this is going to be all dependent on the type of racking system that we use, but when we're talking about wood, there's a few different areas that you can put LED lighting. We always put LED lighting on that high reveal or the angle. That's a great area to put LED lighting. The open areas, but it's really tough to do anything with the single bottleneck out or the diamond racking or any of those. You just can't, it just doesn't lend itself to putting LED lighting. So hi, I'm Jason from Vintage Cellars, and thank you for taking this walkthrough on our under the stair cellar that we're super proud of.